That man is just in love, in love. I love that for him, I love that for them, and I love that for me because I get to watch it. Maybe he's valid for having his little vendetta against Lady Whistledown. Sue me, sue me, sue me for saying that. And since I'm a person that listens to women and also especially listens to black women, I will trust her and listen to her and also say that I do not like that man. And that's on listening to women. Thank you.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Oh my, it's really raining. It's only 5 o'clock, but it looks like it's about to be like dark, and now it's raining, and I'm like, okay, now I have to close the windows. Alright, windows are now closed. I hope you don't hear any rain sounds. But yeah, if the lighting gets like weird, it's because it's raining and storming outside, so yeah. Hello! Today we're talking about Bridgerton Season 3, Part 1, and will I be doing a British accent throughout this whole video? No, I will not, but will I go like in and out every now and again? Yes, I probably will. Anyway, like I said, we're talking about Season 3 of Bridgerton, those first 4 episodes, Part 1. I don't know why they wanted to break it up, but I digress. Sure, it's fine. Before I talk about Season 3, first I want to say I'm trying to give a little bit of a Bridgerton fit here. Corset-ish top, it's yellow. I feel like it's not coming off yellow, but like this is a white bra, so the shirt is yellow. So I feel like I'm giving like Penelope Season 1-ish, you know? Anyway, so for this video, I'm going to talk about episode by episode, each episode, my thoughts, the stuff that I wrote down while I was watching it, etc, etc. Also I have my computer here, has all my notes on it, so like if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my computer so that I remember everything that I want to say. Thank you. Okay, episode 1 was called Out of the Shadows, and let's just jump right into it. Okay, so we start things off with it very clearly being like, okay, Penelope is in her main girl era, and I don't know, it was just so heartwarming and like cute and awesome to just see my girl Nicola Coughlan, I hope I said that right, Nicola Coughlan, I don't know, but it was just so nice to see her like finally in the main role, like Miss Penelope, the star of the season. It's hard to explain, but like I don't know, I just loved it. Okay, and then things kind of start with Colin coming back from his travels like once again, and my immediate thought was, oh, he left again? When did that happen? And then either I'm dumb and he mentioned like last season that he was like leaving again and I completely missed that, or they didn't talk about that last season and we're just expected to like fill in the blanks of it. I don't know which one is right. I'm probably dumb and missed him saying that like, hey, I'm gonna go travel again, but he's been gone for the past few months once again from traveling, and now he's back. And honestly, I love Colin truly, you know, like I've been down for him since season 1 personally, but he's literally the epitome of that one guy that went like, hey, you know what, I'm going to go study abroad for a year, or hey, I'm gonna go take a gap year and like travel the world. And then when he comes back from his little gap year, that's all that guy can talk about, like all of the stories from like when he was like traveling to like, you know, studying abroad, whatever, is the only thing he can talk about. Like that's literally his personality. Colin was very much giving the vibes of that kind of guy, but I still love him. It's okay that he does it because like, I don't know, maybe for this time period it was like much cooler and like crazier to travel, but still he is the epitome of that like guy. Sorry to say it. Also, what is this like flirter, charmer energy he's giving? Literally season 1 and maybe even a bit of season 2, I don't know, but I'm like specifically thinking about season 1 when he was like courting Marina and blah blah blah. Like he was giving such like lover boy energy, and now he's like giving such flirty charmer energy and like being very Benedicty and like Anthony vibes of like talking to ladies, sleeping around a bit. What was this little like 180 vibe? I don't know, and I don't know how I felt about it thus far. Next, I just need to say this, like Nicola Coughlan, I'm sorry, I forgot how to say it. It's so crazy because I watched a bunch of interviews of her and like him and like just her too when this like new season was coming up, and they kept saying her name and I don't know how I literally am now forgetting it. I feel like so stupid, but Nicola, I'll at least just say that she is just so freaking good at acting, man. Like wow, she doesn't even need to say lines and we get her completely, you know what I mean? Her face says it all, every emotion she's feeling. And specifically the reason why I wrote this down is because like I think in the earlier parts of this episode there were moments of her like watching Colin from afar and it was just very obvious like the pininess and also just like a little bit of like confusion on her face. Like you could clearly read it, you could clearly tell it. And then also the moment where she finds out like Cressida and Eloise are friends now, like you could just see all the emotions written across her face, like confusion, and then also a bit of betrayal, like you're hanging, like now you're best friends with my bully kind of low-key, like, you know, all the emotions just swirling in her face. You could see it so clearly, and some people can't do it, you know, some actors don't have it in them, but Nicola, girl, you have it. Some people don't have it, you have it, honey. Okay, now I don't know where we were in the episode, I can't really remember when this moment happened, but there was like a Violet and Kate moment, and that was just so cute and adorable, and I love that friendship and I love that duo. They're so cute, I loved it. And then we got an Anthony and Kate moment in this episode. Woo! I'm so glad that we finally get to see a bit of them, and they just look so happy and in love, and it was just making me smile the whole time. I freaking love them. They're awesome. And also it's just so nice to see him happy for once and just like with a smile on his face and not being like stressed out about his siblings, like what's going on there, like stressed out about business or whatever. That man is just in love, and I love that. I love that for him, I love that for them, and I love that for me because I get to watch it. At the end of this episode, they're like, okay, you know what, let's go back on our honeymoon, and then we never see them again, But you know what, even though I'm a bit sad about it, it's okay because I'm glad we got those few scenes with them just being happy and in love. I'm glad we got to see a little bit of it. Okay, so then things moved into Lady Danbury's ball, which is like the first ball of the season, whatever, and Penelope's entrance at that ball. Her entrance at that ball. I moment of silence for that entrance. Oh my gosh, it was literally giving like a Cinderella story kind of vibe, literally a Cinderella story or like another Cinderella story or literally just Cinderella itself. It was giving that vibe, and I love a Cinderella story type of entrance, and she was giving that, and she was serving, and that dress was awesome on her, the hair, the makeup, everything perfect. Okay, the sun's starting to come out a bit, so maybe the lighting will get better. We'll see. I don't know, man. Next, oh my god, the secondhand embarrassment that I felt when, you know, she made her little entrance, and then like these guys came up to her, they're like, oh my gosh, like she's so hot, let me go talk to her, and like she's just so awkward and like not good at talking to them. Oh, the secondhand embarrassment that I felt during that moment was like crazy, but then at the same time it's just like, okay, that's so real and so same, because that would literally be me in that situation, folding under the pressure, not knowing what to talk. Also, why did like 3 people come up to her at once, you know? Like the pressure there is just a little too much. I was feeling a lot of embarrassment for her in that moment, but also like I would be her in that moment. That would be me. Like we're one and the same. I would have acted the same exact way in that moment, man. Okay, so next, as of episode 1, I have no idea how I'm feeling about this like Cressida Eloise friendship. You know, I'm all for like a redemption arc for Cressida, obviously. Like I'm all for a redemption arc, but I don't know. I'm just like trying to feel things out. Like I feel like they're trying to force it onto us right now, and I don't know. I'm just playing things by ear. I don't know how I feel about it. That's my final verdict as of right now. Okay, so then the ball ends, and then it's next morning, and Colin's like coming to apologize to Pen because like last night they had like a really quick conversation of her being like, I heard what you said about me, and him being like, oh, and then like her leaving the ball and whatever. So then this morning, now he's coming to apologize to her, and honestly I didn't mind the apology. I actually really liked it. I wish there was a bit more begging and pleading, but you know, we'll get what we'll get, I guess. I don't know. And then finally the episode ends with the latest edition of Lady Whistledown dropping, and it's so funny because most of the edition is literally Penelope talking a bunch of crap about Colin, because like when she wrote it was right after the ball, and like this is before he apologized, whatever. She was really angry at him. It's just her talking a bunch of crap about him, so that's really funny. And then there's the ending scene of Colin being like, if I ever find out who Lady Whistledown is, I'm never going to forgive them, I'm going to ruin their life, etc. And that was honestly so insane, but I kind of loved it. I just love the drama and like the stakes of it all, because it's Penelope, and then like they're gonna fall in love, and then like how is he gonna react when he finds out it's her, you know what I mean? I love that kind of a drama. And then also in a way he's kind of valid for like all of the things that he's feeling about Lady Whistledown, because if I was him, like literally all the things he said, Lady Whistledown outing Marina, and then like Lady Whistledown talking bad about Eloise, I would personally also have a vendetta against her if she was talking bad about like my family. Maybe he's valid for having his little vendetta against Lady Whistledown. Sue me for saying that. And that was episode 1. Now let's move on to episode 2. Here we go. It was called How Bright the Moon. So we start things off with Alice and Will and them having their little like royal arc now. And honestly, I love seeing them have this royal arc. And also I just love them having a much bigger role this season. It's just so cool. And honestly, just another reason why I love this show. And then we move into Colin and Penelope starting the little scheme of like him trying to help her find a husband by like trying to teach her how to be more charming and like flirty, whatever. And honestly, this little scheme that they're doing is giving such like the Duff vibes, and it's kind of funny because I just rewatched that movie like a few-ish days ago. So like the whole vibe of like Robbie Amell's character trying to teach Mae Whitman's character like how to be flirty and like talk to guys and stuff, like it's literally giving the same energy, and I quite love that. And then as they're having one of their little training sessions at the Bridgerton house, Eloise comes home, and then Penelope is like, oh my god, she can't see me here, like, you know, we're in our little fight, whatever. So he's like, okay, go hide in the study. I guess that's where he's like working. So then she finds his journal, and then she's like reading his journal a little bit and his writing, and then he comes back, he's like, whoa, you're reading my journal? And she's like, oh, my bad, blah. And then like a whole little moment happens. A candlestick falls over, he's trying to pick up the glass, he cuts his hand, and then we have a little silent moment of her like helping him patch up his hand. And honestly, that moment was like really sweet and wholesome in a way. There was just something about like the looks they were sharing at that moment. Nothing was being said, but like everything was being said. You know what I mean? Probably not. I don't know. And now let me quickly speedrun talking about these next 3 things, because I don't know, that's just the way I want to do it right now. One, Eloise asking Colin about Penelope and like trying to make sure like that Penelope's not feeling completely alone or like friendless, whatever. That was so like I'm in a fight with my best friend coded, because you know, like you're fighting with them, but at the same time like you still care about them and want to make sure they're okay. So honestly, that was a bit cute. And come on, can my girls become friends already, please and thank you. Two, the feathering daughters not knowing what sex is was so Daphne season 1 coded, and just another reason why we needed sex education during that time. And I'm not talking about the TV show. And then 3, Lady Danbury's little scheme to get Francesca as a diamond was so Lady Danbury coded, and just another reason why I love that woman. And I think I forgot to mention this when talking about episode 1, but her entrance in episode 1 was an absolute serve and awesome. Lady Danbury, I praise the ground you walk on, for real. Okay, now let me quickly speak on the queen really fast. I love her. I love her wigs. I love the Queen Charlotte little spin-off moment that we had like last year. That was great and awesome and just showed so much more to her and was really cool, and yes, loved it. And now this episode ended with a Colin and Penelope first kiss scene, which was actually so like out of left field. I did not expect it to happen at all, but it was actually really cute and wholesome and a little bit embarrassing because like she was like asking for it. She's like, I don't want to die, like never being kissed, like I could die tomorrow. He's like, you're not gonna die tomorrow. She's like, okay, well I could and I've never been kissed, like can you please kiss me? You know what, I need to start acting more like Penelope. You go girl, do what you gotta do. And now we're moving on to episode 3, which was called Forces of Nature. We start things off with kind of like a sexy-ish dream moment between Colin and Penelope, and I fully expected it to be Penelope, you know, having this little like wet dream kind of a vibe, but it was actually Colin, and my immediate thought was, oh, now that's fun. Because like him finally being like awoken to the feelings that he has for this girl and having it in the way of a like kind of like little sexy sex dream, that's just such a fun little way to do it. And then we have a little moment at like the modiste or whatever you call it. I think Eloise was already there and then Penelope shows up. Hi, this is editing me quickly jumping in to say that everything that I just said right there was a big fat lie, accidentally. The modiste scene literally happened in episode 1, I got confused, but the Eloise and Penelope scene that happens in this episode was actually Eloise going to Penelope's house to apologize for like accidentally-ish outing the Penelope and Colin scheme that they were doing. She accidentally like said it, and then it became big news, and everybody was like making fun of them, a little bit of a scandal, embarrassment, etc, etc. So Eloise is going by Penelope's house to like apologize for that, and yeah, that's the actual scene that happened in this episode, not the modiste scene. I'm sorry, I got confused. But everything else that you'll see me saying next, like the sentiment is still makes sense, even though I was actually talking about the wrong scene. So yeah, let's just get back to what I was talking about. Okay, bye-bye, yeah, woo! Cat cam, kinda, hey. Please, I need my girls to become friends again. Please let my girls become friends again, please, please. Because I know they miss each other, but I also, like, I get the hesitance behind it. Like, Eloise's mindset of, like, you didn't trust me enough to tell me that you were her. And then also you kind of, like, you know, said some crazy stuff about my family. But mainly I feel like it's about, like, the fact that you kept this, like, huge secret from me. But then I also see Penelope's mindset of, like, this is a really big secret. And, like, if anybody knows, like, it would be really bad for me. Like, I could literally get beheaded by the queen if this ever gets out that it's me. 1. And then 2, sometimes I just want to have something for myself, and that's okay. I get her just wanting something for herself, you know, and without having to share it with other people. And also it's a super huge secret, and she could get beheaded by the queen if anybody finds out it's her. So yeah, I see both sides. I just am waiting for the moment where they just come back together, please. We have a quick little Colin and Penelope moment of them just being so awkward around each other, because like this is the first time they're talking since their little kiss last night, and they're just so awkward and flustered and like nervous around each other, and it's actually really cute and wholesome, and I quite love moments like that in like roms and rom-coms. Only when it's done right though. Only when it's done right, because I've seen moments like that that have not been done right. Once again, I need to quickly say how much I love Will and Alice. Moment of silence for them. Thank you. Alright, now shifting gears. What's up with this Lord Doubling guy? Because literally that first little combo that him and Penelope had, he was giving such like, you're not like other girls energy when he was like talking to her. And then also, of course, they want to make this a competition between Penelope and Cressida. And honestly, if I was Penelope, I would literally be like, you know what? You can have him, girl. I'm not fighting over a sneaky little man. One thing I'm not gonna do is fight over a sneaky little man. First and foremost, forever and always. Not gonna happen. You can have him. Thank you. Okay, and abruptly shifting gears again. Violet love arc? Potentially, perhaps. Also being with Lady Danbury's brother, perhaps? Huh. And honestly, I don't know how I feel about him, because like given Lady Danbury's reaction when it was like found out that he's coming, it was very like didn't give good vibes. So I don't know how I feel about him. I don't know if I can trust him just yet. Anyway though, the Francesca storyline. I don't know how I'm feeling about that. There's just something about it that's just not giving what other storylines in the show have like given. So I don't know, it's just feeling a bit like lackluster. I'm feeling a bit bored by it thus far as in like episode 3. So yeah. And then also Benedict and this new lady kind of storyline happening. I already forgot her name and I don't feel like looking it up right now, so I'm not gonna. But like that little storyline happening, also another one that I'm not really caring for, but at least we're getting more scenes with him and that's all I can ask, I guess. I personally cannot wait for the day where we finally move past Benedict's storylines solely being him like hooking up with people or him just being like a funny little guy, because like I know there's some depth in there and I love him being a funny little guy, but I also just want like there's just more, there's some depth in there. Like I want to crack it open and I can't wait till the day we do that. Hopefully season 4 is about him. I don't know, I digress. I'm not going to talk about it further right now. Anyway, this episode ends with Colin about to admit his feelings for Penelope, but then he doesn't at the last second because they're at this ball or whatever, and then Lord Debling comes up and asks Penelope to dance, and obviously she says yes, and then Colin doesn't get to say what he wanted to say, which honestly, like imagine if he said that in front of like everyone. Like they're literally like close-ish by the dance floor, there's a bunch of people around. Like imagine if he admitted his feelings to her like in a room full of people. I actually would have hated that, so I'm glad he got interrupted. And also I must say I do love the vibe of a friends to lovers trope where the guy admits his feelings first, especially in the scenario like us as the audience already knows that the girl likes the guy, so I love seeing the guy being the one that is finally like, hey, I like you, because like we never knew like exactly where his head was at with things, so I love the vibe of like the guy being the first one to admit it. And yeah, and now we're moving into the 4th and final episode, which was titled Old Friends. So things start off with, I think we were at Penelope's house and Lord Debling is like calling on her, you know, a little vibe like that. And you know what, I've changed my mind, I like him, and I might actually feel a little bad when Penelope rejects him for Colin. And I don't know, I always just feel so bad when there's like collateral damage and like love triangle situations, kind of like Edwina last season, or even the Prince season 1, like the Prince with Daphne, and he was barely even in it, but I still kind of felt bad for him. I don't know, I just feel bad because they're usually always a nice person, they're only there to like be rejected, and I just feel bad every time. Anyway though, Penelope was looking so Cinderella in this blue dress during this moment, like very Cinderella. I was in awe, one may say. I was very much in awe. I've been talking for so long, I just need to like sit like this for a while, so I'm sorry if this is like absolutely disgusting, but just bear with me please. Next, we move into a breakfast scene with Lady Danbury and her brother. Still don't know if I trust him. There's just something about the way that she seems that she feels about him. Like she seems very much like she does not like him, and since I'm a person that listens to women and also especially listens to black women, I will trust her and listen to her and also say that I do not like that man, and that's listening to women. Thank you. Okay, and oh my gosh, the queen's wig at this like final ballet ball, whatever it was, her wig in this moment was so cool, and I just want to say costume department, hair department, like they got a huge raise, and honestly keep giving them raises, because if they're gonna do stuff like this with their money, keep giving them money, please and thank you, please and thank you. Okay, I'm sitting normal again, I just needed that little break. Okay, anyway, also at this ball, Lord Debling realizes there's something going on with like Penelope and Colin, so he decides to break things off, and honestly I'm glad that it was him doing it instead of Penelope doing it, so I didn't really feel that bad about it because he was the one that, you know, broke it off at the end of the day, so it didn't hurt me as much as I thought it would. And honestly I'm glad it happened before they even got engaged or anything, and yeah, I'm just happy about that. And then the final 10-ish minutes of this episode was Colin declaring his feelings for Penelope in her carriage. How did he end up in her carriage, you may ask? She was leaving the ball because she was upset that the proposal was ruined, and then her mom immediately came up to her and was like, did you just ruin this proposal? And she's like, that's your first question, you don't even care that I'm okay, blah 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 blah. So then she leaves the ball, and then Colin like sees her leave and he like goes to chase her down. She's literally in her carriage and he stops it midway and then jumps right in, and then he declares his love for her. And you know what, I'm a sucker for a love declaration, and his was quite cute, cheesy in the right way, right amount of like adorableness to it. I liked it a lot. It was cute, it was great, I loved it. And then the song that they used for like their little like sexy time scene in the carriage literally reminded me of Pitch Perfect immediately. The final little championship, Bart and Bella's singing, you know? And then finally the way he asked her to marry him, I feel like some people might hate it because it wasn't like a super like sentimental get down on one knee, have the ring out kind of a vibe, but I honestly love like the chillness vibe to it. It was just like, are you gonna marry me or not, Penelope? And then her face being like, oh. Like, it was cute, and honestly I would personally love that kind of proposal. Nothing super crazy or like over the top, just a simple like, are you gonna marry or not? And then him especially doing that after they had their little sexy time-ish moment in the carriage. Did we expect him to get on one knee and be all sentimental? They were just like seconds away from doing things that they should only be doing when they're married. But anyway, the way he proposed put a sweet little smile on my face, and I quite loved it. And maybe you didn't, but I did, and that's what that matters. You know what, my opinion's the only one that matters. Anyway, that's it. And that was episode 4, and that was the first 4 episodes, and that was Bridgerton part 1. Okay, then the teaser for those final 4 episodes looks good. I'm excited. It looks like there's gonna be a lot of drama, and I'm excited for the drama. The stakes of it all seem so good. I'm just intrigued. I love and also hate stressful situations, and also the kind of situations where like there doesn't seem to be like a clear-cut solution for it. Like literally, like, how is he gonna react once he realizes that she was Lady Whistledown and saying all this stuff about him, all this stuff about his family, all this stuff about people like he loved, whatever. I'm just so interested to see the reactions to it. Yeah. And then also the Eloise dynamic of it all, you know? She knows the secret. This is also like her best friend, you know, even though they're in a fight right now, but that's still your best friend. You still care about them. But then also this is your brother, and obviously he deserves to know the truth. And who's gonna have to tell him the truth? Me, Eloise, or you, Penelope? Who's gonna do it? One of us has to do it. You know what I mean? I'm just excited, man. These last 4 episodes look like they're gonna be good. Yes, that's that on this Bridgerton season 3 part 1 recap, review, ramble, whatever you want to call it. That's that on that. I'll see you when the final 4 episodes drop. Like I said, I'm excited for that, and I think they'll be really good. Bye bye. I don't think I went into a British accent at all during this, and that's quite sad to say. I'm sorry to say it. I don't know.